Hello YouTube, Wolfman back here with some more top 5 lists for you leading up to J1Con. We are so excited and can't wait to see you there. But before that, in the last video, if you paid attention at the beginning, you might have heard a little bit of rattling, some background noise. I wanted to explain what that was for anybody that may have found that distracting. If I can have a hand, please. This little guy here is Felix. Say hi, Felix. He's a good boy. Felix is one of our 2 ferrets. Felix was very busy during that video, so he was the main one that you heard during the video. We also have this little lady here is Ruby. Say hi, Ruby. Ruby is a very good girl. She was not so busy during the video, but she's very busy right now. And those are the... Oh, hello. I'm sure in the future you'll see them in some videos, maybe their own special videos. But for now, we're going to continue with a top 5 list. Show them. Let's show them. Top 5. Where's the paw? Get the paw. Top... Nope. Hey. Top 5. Do you have more than 5 clothes? I've never even really counted. Okay. Right, say goodbye.
What?
Bye-bye.
Felix, come here.
So if you hear any background noise from this point forward, now you understand what it is. It's the ferrets. So to start with a interim top 5 list, requested by the Mad Yokai, so thank you. Well, partially requested. We talked about it in the comments section on the last top 5 video. Top 5 favorite Mel Brooks movies. I talked about Blazing Saddles being one of my all-time top 5 favorite movies, period. But we were talking about Mel Brooks, and so I decided we were going to do a top 5 Mel Brooks list. Just specifically Mel Brooks. So, to start off that list, I'm going to say this movie is a fantastic movie. If you've never had a chance to see it, it's really hilarious, and it probably cracks my top 10 maybe. I've never thought about that top 10 list. Let me know if you want a top 10 list now. Top 10, but this is my top 5 favorite Mel Brooks movies. Young Frankenstein. This movie is beyond words hilarious. I can't not enjoy it time after time after time. It is so funny. But I'm putting this low, high, again these are on no particular order, but this one's weird because I don't really consider it a Mel Brooks movie. It's a Gene Wilder movie. Yes, Mel Brooks directed it, and I think he might have had a hand producing it, but there's something you might notice about the real Mel Brooks movies. He stars in all of them. Whether he gives himself credit for it, a bit part, big part, small part, whatever, he's in all of them. And Gene Wilder, if I heard the story correctly, Gene Wilder didn't want Mel in this one because he wanted it to be more his movie than Mel's movie, as the story goes. So, low, high on the list, however you want to look at it. Young Frankenstein starts that list off, though. Next, one of his less popular ones, his less well-known movies, but really a fantastic one if you've never had a chance to see it. I think it's absolutely hilarious, and it's just joke after joke after joke after joke, just keeps firing at you, and it's fantastic. History of the World Part 1. This movie is so funny, and it does a great job. Look, this is where some of Mel Brooks' best Jewish humor comes in, I think, actually. He slips jokes like that here and there, but this one, he really takes some shots at himself and his people and his religion, and other groups, too. It's really fantastic. You know, the Inquisition scene, that's all I have to say. If you've never seen it, see it and you'll understand. It's so funny. It's just a phenomenal movie. So, if you never get a chance to see it, make sure you get around to seeing History of the World Part 1. I don't know if it's on any streaming services or not, but track it down and find it, because it's such an enjoyable watch. So, next on this list, I'm going to put... Let's see, that's 2 already. For 3, I'm going to put Spaceballs. This is... everybody knows this movie. It's hilarious. And I think everybody knows the behind-the-scenes stuff, too. All those jokes, the merchandising jokes, and and his connection with George Lucas for Star Wars. There's everybody said it already. This movie is fantastic. It's in like the pantheon of great parody movies, of great sci-fi movies. It's just a fantastic film. Everybody loves Spaceballs, so there you go. Next, I'm going to put my father's favorite movie, if you heard me mention from the last video, The Producers. And this is a truly phenomenally hilarious movie. Gene Wilder bringing his best. Zero Mostel, a man known for stage, doing a movie about producers for stage shows. So, there's levels of hilarity on top of things. The joke, it's an iconic film. And years later, me and my father have still watched it and still found new things to laugh at. It's something that we've bonded over. It's a fantastic, fantastic movie. And if you want an enjoyable point of comparison, a compare and contrast, look at the original Producers with Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel and the new one with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. It's a very interesting compare and contrast. The things that he changed from the original movie to what was made different for the stage show and then redone again for the movie. It's like a thought experiment. It's really fascinating to look at. And then number one, you might have been thinking that it might be different from the list, but again, Blazing Saddles is number one on this list. I said everything in the last video, so go back and watch it. Blazing Saddles still going to be number one on the Mel Brooks list. Number one, number five. It's all the same. They're all wonderful movies. They're all fantastic. I enjoy them all so much. Can watch them over and over again and love them every single time like it was brand new. And for those of you that may be wondering, why wasn't Silent Movie on this list? Why wasn't Robin Hood Men in Tights? Actually, that's a fun story about Robin Hood Men in Tights. When I was in college, I knew a girl that thought that was the greatest movie ever, especially out of Mel Brooks movies. Just Robin Hood Men in Tights. You can't do funnier than that. And I had to argue with her strongly that it was, while a fun movie, probably one of his weaker ones. And she's like, no, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that it's the weakest out of all of his movies. And I said, no, especially compared to Blazing Saddles. And do you know why? For those of you that may not have realized it or may not have seen it, and here's a small spoiler for you, can't help it, Robin Hood Men in Tights literally by name references Blazing Saddles. There's your hint right there that one movie is stronger than the other. So, there's my reason for why Robin Hood Men in Tights didn't make the list, at least. But there are so many other amazing and hilarious Mel Brooks movies. The 12 Chairs, Life Stinks. There are just so many good ones. So, let me know your favorite Mel Brooks movies. Let me know your favorite Mel Brooks moments. Let me know if you want to see other top 5 lists, or maybe even lists, or maybe even breaking out into top 10s. Let me know and comment down below. So moving forward with the other top 5 list that I wanted to do, this one, more specific to the upcoming J1Con, is my top 5 favorite video games. Yes, I know I'm the movie guy of the channel, but I do enjoy my gaming. Who doesn't like playing video games? Please. So, these are movies. God, I cannot talk today. What the hell? So these are games that are very near and dear to my heart, very important to me. They hold significance for me and have stayed strong games for me from childhood through today. So to start this list, 2 Sega games, Sega Genesis. And I still got my Sega Genesis packed away somewhere. It's under lock and key, but I've got the games here. And I'm so excited to show you this. So to start, everyone's favorite Blue Hedgehog, Sonic for Sega Genesis. It's right there. Here's the proof I still got it, and it still plays, believe it or not. It still works. I can remember being a kid playing that game with my brother. It's, a lot of these actually have, solid memories with me and my brother when I was a kid playing games. They're just And Sonic has stood the test of time. You know, the original cartoon shows, they were fantastic. I loved playing the Sonic games. It was just so cool. It's one of my earliest video game memories. It really is. Sonic for Genesis. I don't know what else to say about it. What is there to say? Everybody has said it. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most iconic video game characters ever. And the first Sonic game, it was such a simple, basic concept, and look what it became. So Sonic starts off this list. Next on the list, I'm going to talk about another Sega game. And I still have the box. Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition. Open. You can see the game is still in there. This game is important to me because, to my memory, this was the first game I ever beat without any assistance when I was a kid. I can always remember, I beat Mario, I beat Sonic, but I can remember my brother helping me with a lot of those, or it took me just, time after time after time. This was the first one on my own, beginning to end, playing through it on arcade mode. Yeah, it was the first one I think I can remember beating, beginning to end, all on my own, playing with Blanca. I beat the game with Blanca, and I remember being so excited. I finally won, and it was all on my own. So yeah, the first video game that I remember beating all on my own, it wasn't Mario, it wasn't Sonic, it was Street Fighter 2 with Blanca. So that's why he's still today one of my favorite characters in Street Fighter franchise. So that's the next game on this list. So third on this list, another just memory from playing in my childhood with my brother. It was we had the NES. And we had that combo pack. You remember the Duck Hunt Super Mario Brothers? And specifically, I'm talking about Duck Hunt. And you're probably wondering, why not Mario? Well, everybody's talking about Mario. We all love Mario, of course. These are the games that are more specific to me. And I remember playing Duck Hunt with my brother. And I remember when we found out you could control the ducks if you had a controller, and you could kind of control them a little bit and make it a little harder for your opponent. And I can remember having fun in our basement playing Duck Hunt, shooting that gun. I think I've still got it around here somewhere. I gotta find it. I think I actually went back and I bought the triple pack, the one that had like the Olympic Games, the Mario, and the Duck Hunt. I've got that laying around somewhere, I think. But yeah, Duck Hunt and that dog. God, that dog. And you know what? I'll link in the description below. Film Theory did that game, that knockoff game, the one that's inspired by Duck Hunt, where you the horror game with the dog, and oh boy, that's creepy. I love the Film Theory video on that. So, but Duck Hunt, I mean, we've all played these classic games. We know them so well. Actually, a funny story. I was so excited when I dug up my old NES and I was going to play with my fiance. We were going to play the classic games, and I didn't know that on a flat screen the sensor didn't work, so we're sitting there I think I was there for like maybe a half hour trying to figure out why we couldn't play Duck Hunt on the flat screen. It was so frustrating. So we still have an old analog Zenith TV. It's over here. I'll show it to you. I'll pull the camera over. Yeah, we've still got this thing so that we can play these old games where I hook up to the television. So yeah, Duck Hunt, it just brings back so many memories. It just reminds me of my childhood. So next game. This one, I remember the first serious console that I felt was mine was the PS2. And I still got my PS2. I love my PS2. I love the PS2 games. That's my console. And for those of you that may have gotten PS2 like I did, you got that jump pack thing, the one that had all the game demos on it. And the one that just stood out to me the strongest, I just felt an instant connection to this game, and I loved playing it. I played it for hours, was the first Jak and Daxter. And I love the sequels, but I'm talking specifically the first Jak and Daxter. That was one of the first games that I just felt so immersed. You know, I loved playing games, but I was never that big a gamer throughout my whole life. I was never that big a video gamer. I enjoyed playing them, but I never got so engrossed. It was never... But this was the first time I was sucked into the story. I wanted to know more about the lore. I love the characters instantly. I love the gameplay. It was so much fun. So Jak and Daxter takes the next spot on the list. It's just the game that means so much to me, and I still have it, and I still play it. And you know what? Doing this list, it makes me think, I don't have the capture cards or the computer set up like Ellie does for our gaming. If I was going to do any gaming on my own, it would be very guerrilla warfare tactics here with a camera pointed at the TV. But if you guys think you're okay with guerrilla tactics here, I'll do that, and I'll start playing Jak and Daxter on my own. So let me know if you think you can tolerate some crappy footage. But I'll start doing some gaming on my own, and I'll bring you to a multi-part playthrough for Jak and Daxter. So let me know what you think in the description down below. Moving on to the last game on this list. One we all have been there with this game. I was 10 years old. I was on a trip to Florida. I remember it vividly. And right before the plane took off, my mother handed me my first Game Boy and Pokemon Blue. I had Pokemon Blue Edition growing up. And, I mean, how could this not make the list? How could anybody do a personalized list like this, video games, and not include a Pokemon game? This was the first one for me. I was at the height of the Pokemon craze when I was a kid. Pokemon was life. And playing Pokemon Blue, I was beyond words ecstatic. I was so excited to play this. I turned it on, and I didn't put that Game Boy down for anything. I took it everywhere. I was playing. You couldn't tear me away from it for anything. I think I was eating while gaming with one hand. I was so engrossed, and I remember this. I was so sucked in that I didn't pay attention to the battery. Remember the old Game Boys that had that, did they? I don't remember if I'm mixing up the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance. Oh gosh. But I remember I was playing it so long that the battery ran out. And I hadn't saved. I was just so into it. And I can't remember the last time I saved, but I was just... So, I don't know if I don't remember if I had to restart the whole game or if I did have a save point somewhere. But I just remember I played the game through, the batteries running out. If I'm remembering correctly, I think I had just beaten Brock. I think it took me a while. I played through, or maybe I just made it to Misty. But I know I was playing through, I was really into it, and then all of a sudden the screen just faded away on me and the batteries were dead. I just remember that moment. Just, my heart sank, I was crushed. I was so into playing, and then the batteries died. Oh, so... Yeah, I'm like 90% sure somewhere around this mess of an apartment I've still got my copy of Pokemon Blue, and I think it still plays. So, yeah. Pokemon Blue, that was my big one. It meant the world to me, and still does. I never kept up with the new Pokemon games. I mean, Pokemon is still cool. I won't deny it. It's still cool. I enjoy it. But I'm a first-gen guy. Always will be. And Pokemon Blue, it holds such a special place in my heart. So, there's my list. We've got Sonic and Street Fighter. We've got Duck Hunt. We've got Jak and Daxter. And we've got Pokemon Blue. Those are the top 5 games that mean the world to me. If you want to hear about other ones, ask me for a top 10 list. I'll expand. How many of them have you played? How many of them do you still have? What was the first game that you beat to your memory? What were games that you remember, if you had siblings, that you played with your siblings? Were you the older sibling? Were you the younger sibling? Were you the one that was helping them? Were you the one asking for help? You know, we got to keep that dialogue going. We got to keep talking, guys. Power to the fan base. And we'll keep talking more at J1Con. Can't wait to see you there. Take care.